Yo guys, so we're back again. I'm going to be showing you guys how you can make that fire Spanish guitar sample start to finish pretty much, so you guys can get all the tips and tricks that you need to make really authentic samples. And I'm going to be spilling the sauce on a few things that you may not know. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and let's jump into this one. Okay, so when we get to breaking down this sample, as you can see, we've got different parts. The main parts are kind of comprised in here. So we're going to break down the guitar melody first and go from there. So whilst this is very kind of complicated and spread out, it's quite a simple method that I use. So I'm going to show you guys just here in this FMO guitar. So let's just start out here. Let's go in the E minor key. And we're going to draw a triad chord. And you'll see why we're doing this shortly. But this is how you create that rhythm. So now we're going to take this. And we're going to move this over. Same here. And then what we're going to do is cut it. And just so everyone knows, the magnet link is on third beat to create this sort of... Sounds nice. So now what we're going to do is just take this a few times and we can start to create variation within it if we feel we need to. So same again here. And then what I like to do is have the lower notes just kind of ring a little bit longer. So we're already creating that vibe. So after we've kind of got a generic kind of structure put out, let's say like this, it's really simple. We can always experiment with inverting some of the notes. So this is what typically works really well. And then what I would normally do is also take these notes down so you can get a kind of more of a frequency space capture basically. And just that already, it's very simple and it's already sounding good. So, you know, if you want to add some extra flair, maybe add some notes that are going to add some tension to it as well. And then maybe we could go up to E. And then use Alt U to just chop these here. And we can just stagger the velocity on that. And for me personally, I think we could just double that up. And then what we can do is take all the velocities like this and just slowly build them up like this, using the right click. And see, already just really simply we're starting to create that style. So just have fun with it, mess around with the different octaves and use the third beat rhythm. But at the same time, you can use any rhythm you want. It's just, this is just a really kind of clutch one to try, kind of get you to that vibe very quickly. So now we've got that guitar down, let's look at what else we added. So next up, in context with the guitar, we added this Cinewinds Pro preset, the Renaissance flute. And I'm just going to show you in context with the guitar because it's pretty damn simple. So the only really real different thing there is just the spacing between the flutes. And at this point I realized the guitar was sounding too dry. As you can hear right now when I'm playing it, it doesn't sound dry. But when I was initially making it, it sounded quite dry. So here's kind of the chain of what I've put on here. We've got an EQ just taking out some of the bass frequencies for when we have a bass in there, or we've got an 808 slapping. Got this mixed mud removal at 200 Hz on Pro Q3, and I've actually just brick walled it there just to basically... I'm just anticipating that we're going to need to reduce the dB there if we had a bass part or whatever. So then I came in with a fruity reverb here. This is the setting I've got it on. I think it's the default, and then I've kind of experimented with it. So without, it sounds like this. And then with, it sounds like this. So it just adds that kind of decay on the end, that tail. And then same again here, I just wanted to clean up a few little bits. So pretty straightforward when it comes to the mix on that. And that just allows everything else to kind of shine through. So after we came with those flutes, I wanted to add some strings. So I've got the Pizzicato setting here in Spitfire Audio's BBC Symphony Orchestra, and we're in Violins 1, so that's this part of this section here, with Pizzicato being the phrasing, which is very short. So I'll play that as well in combination so you can kind of see, and you can see it's just a very small part, and it just kind of acts as like an accent. But it definitely adds a really kind of unique cinematic feel, and yes, we are using the third beat again for that with the melody. So I'll just quickly zoom in so you can sort of see what's up with the melody. As you can see, third beats there, and just kind of working down the scale we were using. So in this instance, the scale we're using is F minor. Next up, some of you guys may not know about this. This is Ample Guitar Lite. One thing I just wanted to draw your attention to, just to add that real feel if you're not playing the guitar. As you can see, I've actually got a guitar because I play. But if you don't, you might want to add some fret noises and stuff. So you've got like a downstroke. What else we got? So a few kind of realistic guitar sounds. So here's kind of what we added for this part. And then in context here. So then after that we came into contact for a bass guitar. So here I'm just using the classic bass in Lilia Efimov, and this is the pattern I use. Very simple. So when it comes to the melodies, that's the predominant kind of things that are playing. But now I want to show you all the extra little textures and sort of things that I added to it. So this is an accent by I'm Acing It, and it's called Pit of Sadness, and it sounds like this. And this really comes in nice for the feel with the flutes and stuff. It's like some wolf howling at the moon type shit. And then we've got this other texture here from my Gemini drum kit. So those two are really kind of low in the volume, but they add a nice kind of mood. And one last thing that you might not have even noticed is this little spider legs percussion texture. So this is pitched all the way down, and this is just part of the sample here. This is also my kit. It kind of adds a little bit of that kind of cinematic tension. See what I'm saying? So that is all of the melodies. Although a lot of the melodies aren't very full, it's just predominantly the guitar. These things are all kind of essential to kind of really give your samples a really unique feel. So now let's move on to the drums portion of this. All right, so I'm gonna play you some drums quickly with this sample. It might be at a different pitch actually. I think this is in E minor, yeah. So I'll play it you with this sample and the drums so you guys can kind of get a feel for it, and then I'll kind of break down the drums for you. So I'm going to break down pattern 9, and then I'm going to show you some differences in the other patterns after. So this is the most full part of the drums here, so we're going to look at this. So firstly, we came with the rim and clap that are going to pretty much mirror each other, except for the rim's going to have this triplet roll here, and then the clap is going to have a triplet roll there, and both the velocities are going to be staggered. So I'm going to play the clap and the rim together so you can start to get a feel for the bounce with the sample. This is the clap here. And on top of that, I wanted to build some hi-hats. So this is the pattern I came up with. Now the key to this is just start super simple. I think I actually started like this. So I start with this kind of pattern here. And one thing I want to note is the velocities are staggered down that roll. Then I brought in another roll here with the staggered velocities going in the opposite direction. So the hi-hats are pretty much identical for each 4-bar sequence. So I'll play you 4 bars so you can kind of hear how it really complements the bounce. After that, I wanted to have a kick that was just really simple, just to add a lot of punch. As you can see here, we've got the EQ and the boost up a little bit, just clipping it. The 808 I'm using right here is the Street Sweeper 808. Got it in this shape on the envelope, a little bit of the out up. Got the EQ up there as well. So this is how this sounds. It's very simple. Obviously, I just wanted to add that little triplet there just to give it a little bit of differentiation. So yeah, it's pretty kind of predictable, just adds that nice bounce and really just complements everything else that's going on. And then one final thing I wanted to add was this open hat. This open hat just really adds a lot of sauce when it comes to the bounce. So just once every 4 bars. So that is the main kind of drum elements, but I just want to go over something that I feel like sometimes people overlook, just making minor changes. So this is the drum pattern for pattern 10, so this is where the verse starts, and to distinguish that it's the verse, I wanted to change up the hi-hat, so I did a 3rd beat rhythm like this. Then I had a pretty much 3-beat break, and then I did a full load of 3rd beats, and then replicate that same pattern again. And this just adds so much variety if you just listen to this. So yeah, with the structure here, we've just got an intro here with no EQ on the sample. We've then got a hook here. The verse is initiated with those triplet patterns there, and then the drums pick up a bit again there. Then we loop back round to that again. It's a great place to kind of beat before you jump back into a hook, is just having like a kind of full instrumental part, so all the drums can strip back and you can kind of feel the change in the track. If any of you guys wondering what I've got on the master here, I've got a soft clipper literally on default. I got this smooth operator from Baby Audio. You guys can check them out. They'll be, all their plugins will be linked in the description. And I've tweaked the trap preset to this, and this is just what sits really well for this track. So if you listen before, the melodies are really quiet and the bass is dominant, but now the bass has like a level of saturation and kind of dynamic to it that it didn't have before, and the melodies have a bit more voicing. Not to the point where it's overwhelming, but I'll play you it with the drums without smooth operator on, and then with. Nothing wrong with that. This just kind of gives it a little bit more of a boost. Shit hard though. So that's the end of the video, guys. If you took some value from it, I'd really appreciate you going ahead and subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button. If you weren't aware, we actually have our own sort of sounds for your music production linked in the description. All of the drums that I was using today was from the Gemini drum kit, which you guys can check out at the link in the description. It's a very condensed kit. We got a lot of things. It has a lot of utility when it comes to making your beats, saving time with your beats, or just kind of getting things going. So I'd really advocate for you guys to go and check that out if you're in need of some new sounds. But yeah, that's pretty much it from me. I'll leave you guys with the preview of that beat, and I'll catch you in the next one.